only in key states, and you're saying that's not accurate.
Yes, that's right. We haven't found any evidence to substantiate it.
She just made it up out of thin air the day after the election, wrote this email to your top executives, and it's not true?
Congressman, I'm happy to follow up, but I think the employees today do their own activity.
You don't want the follow-up. I want the real answers right into this committee.
As I said earlier, we looked into it. We defined
Did you
it.
push to get out the key vote? And I would say the two most populous states for Latinos would be California and Texas. Did you push to get out the Latino vote and pay for people to go to the polls in California and Texas?
We as a company didn't have any effort to push out votes for any particular demographic that would be against our principles. We participate in the civic process in a non-partisan way, and we think it's really important we do it that way.
Well, I just think it's interesting, Mr. Chairman, I know I'm over time, but I think it's interesting that their head of multicultural marketing writes an email the day after the election where she talks about 71% of the Latino votes voted for Hillary, but that wasn't enough. And she talks about paying for rides to the polls in key states for Latino votes to get out the Latino vote in key states. And the head of the company says that's not accurate.
The time of the gentleman has expired. The witness may answer the question.
Chairman, I think it's important for us, and we are happy to follow up with Congressman there, and we haven't found any evidence to substantiate those allegations.
Does Ms. Murillo still work for the company?
That's my understanding. She does. Yes, sir.
I recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Bishai. Have you ever heard talk of this email that you were just asking about by your head of cultural marketing?
Not at that time, but later, when there was consensus expressed around it, I was made aware.
Is it true that she sent that email, or could that be fake news?
My understanding is that there were emails which were sent, like the Congressman referred to.
But it's your testimony today that Google did not configure its features to get out the Latino vote in key states.
We don't build partisan features or features with any goals around conducting elections in this ways. We mainly focus our efforts on helping people register to vote, and we reach users across the United States. So anytime we do these efforts, informing people where to vote, these are used in a very distributed way, widely across the entire country.
All right, thank you, sir. Google's collection and use of consumers' data and its record of protecting consumers and their data are appropriate areas of congressional oversight. Sadly, this committee has neglected consumer protection as an area of oversight, choosing instead to squander their oversight responsibility and use its power so as to bully Google and other technology companies into minimizing negative news and comments about Republicans and, most importantly, the Trump administration. Yesterday, Google disclosed that private profile data of over 52 million users may have been exposed. I understand that you're phasing out the Google Plus platform, but many Americans trust your email platform and countless other products with their personal information. And you admit that you collect private data for use in advertising. How can we be assured, considering this new breach, that the personally identifiable information of consumers is safe with you?
Congressman, it's an important question. This is why we undertake all these efforts. We do operate important products like Gmail. The reasons in building software inevitably has bugs associated as part of the process. We actually undertake a lot of efforts to find bugs, and so we find it, we root it out and we fix it, and that's how we constantly make our systems better. And the biggest area of risk we normally we see for our users is around security, that their account gets hacked or something. That's why we work hard. Gmail is an area where we have invested a lot. We have an advanced protection program. I would encourage members of the Congress to sign up for it if you're using Gmail. It allows a second layer of protection to your account, which makes it much harder to your account misappropriated in any way.
All right, thank you. Yesterday, the New York Times published an in-depth investigation of your location tracking applications that personally identified data. Google has said that it doesn't sell data, but as a corporation deeply involved in the business of consumer data use and advertising, your company benefits from applications that track consumer locations. How do you differentiate what Google does with geolocation data companies with applications that track and sell data?
As a company, we do not sell user data against our
How do you differentiate what you do with geolocation data from companies that do sell the data? How do you differentiate what you do with that data versus what these applications that do track and sell the data?
We do not never sell user data. We do give consumers preferences about how the data is used for advertising. Most of our user experience, we make our advertising relevant based on the keywords you type. That's where we get most of our information. You can just go to your ad settings into Google, and you can actually change the use of your personal data for advertising as well. We allow that as an option for our
As
users.
my time expires, let me ask you, do you believe Google has done enough to be transparent in its data collection policies?
We always think there is more to do. It's an area which is going to be an ongoing area of effort for us, but we've invested a lot over the years, and we do make it very transparent, and we encourage users to go check it out. And in fact, every day 20 million users go and check it. And over the last month, around 170 million users did check it. We're going to continue to invest more in this area.
You bet. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Chairman. Here on this side. I have an iPhone, and if I here, Democratic branch, which is like real service, does Google track my movement? Does Google through this phone know that I had moved here and moved over to the left? It's either yes or no.
Service to chip opted into use,
So Google knows that I am moving over there. It's not a trick question. You know, you make $100 million a year, you ought to be able to answer that question. Because Google knows through the phone that I am moving over there sitting next to Mr. Johnson, which would make him real nervous. It's his question. It's yes or no. You can't say yes or no.
without going into more details.
If I walk over there and sit next to Mr. Johnson and carry my phone, does Google know that I was sitting here and then I moved over there?
You're welcome anytime, Judge.
Yes or no?
I genuinely don't know without
I'm shocked you don't know. I think Google obviously does. Are you familiar with the Digital Data Protection Regulation by the European Union?
I'm very familiar with what we're reading on that.
And the European Union is protecting the right and privacy of the people in Europe. We don't have such law in the United States.
Congressman, we have supported and
We do not have such a law in the United States, do we?
we don't have a comprehensive user data privacy
Are
legislation.
you familiar with House Resolution 1039? It's a resolution that I've introduced that would basically adopt some of the European practices in America and give consumers in the United States the right of privacy. Are you familiar with that legislation?
No, but
I'll give you a copy for you. It's ironic to me that the United States, supposed to be the country in the world that protects the privacy of individuals more than anybody else, we are playing second fiddle to the Europeans. They protect the privacy of individuals. more than we do. I think the United States Congress needs to move in a direction to allow citizens to opt in to this dissemination of their information rather than opt out, which seems to be the current law. As Mr. Cohen has stated, that most Americans don't know all the things that this phone can do. One thing that it can do is disseminate information really that we are unaware of. All different people out there. The United States should change the rules to make it so that we as consumers opt in. Otherwise, that information is not disseminated. That is just my opinion. What the people do as protection?
I think there are, if you're referring to our content policies, we do publish. There are areas, for example, categories for YouTube like violent extremism, pornography, child safety, fraudulent activities. So we define categories.
What are extreme political views? I'm saying you should. I'm just saying, what are those extreme political views?
We think it's important. Google and YouTube are platforms which are supported.
So what are those extreme political views that you find objectionable?
We don't define any political views as objectionable.
So you let all political views come on, even objectionable political views.
We have areas which we have defined as not allowed on our platforms. For example, on YouTube, there are clear definitions around hate speech. It's defined as speech which is the primary goal of inciting hatred or violence towards groups of people.
You would agree that hate speech has many different definitions depending on who's doing the defining. Do you agree?
We understand it's a subjective area, could be the interpretation, but we define it and we publish our definition of it. And
Do you believe that Google, as been brought out here, question is biased?
Congressman, it's really important for me that we approach our work
Do you believe that Google is biased? It's either yes or no.
no, not in our approach.
Now, it is a private company, is it not?
Yes, it is.
It's not the government. Google is not the government.
Not
On the government to regulate.
today we are subject to a lot of regulation across many different agencies.
But you're not subject to the definition of what bias is by the government coming in and saying, Google cannot be biased, and we, the government, are going to decide what's biased and what's not biased. You're not subject to that philosophy, are you?
Not today.
I hope we don't get to that point where government tries to come in and regulate what bias is, because this is an independent, free company. I think that is, Google may have